The McDonald's Happy Meal toy once brought joy to the hearts of children throughout the world. Truth be told, it was one of the main reasons most asked for one in the first place. However, some of the toys were met with a less than enthusiastic response, and it's easy to see why. From a phallic-like fireball to the Star Wars bobblehead/vehicle combo, here are 15 saddest McDonald's Happy Meal toys ever. Before we begin, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and click the notification bell for more amazing videos every day. That being said, let's begin. Number 15. Balls of Fury. The Happy Meal was launched in the late 1970s, and soon after, toys were added. Considered a nice touch, the toys started out fairly basic and included the likes of spin tops and yo-yos. However, as time wore on, McDonald's became a little more adventurous and began adding themed toys. Toys inspired by the latest movie or the most popular toy of the year. Unfortunately, however, their track record for getting it right hasn't been great, with a few toys considered too offbeat for kids to enjoy. Others have been described as downright disturbing, bordering on inappropriate. Enter Balls of Fury. If the name isn't enough, the toy certainly was. The last Airbender-themed Happy Meal toy was released in the United States back in 2010. Forming part of the toy were what was supposed to be a pair of fireballs, reminiscent of those slung by the Komodo Rhino launcher toy. However, the reality was far from it. An action-adventure fantasy, The Last Airbender is based on the first season of the animated series Avatar. Released in theaters in early 2010, the movie prompted a string of themed toys to be released into the market, including several that made it through the Golden Arches and into children's Happy Meals. This all sounds innocent enough, but wait till you set your eyes on the fireballs. Children will no doubt have little understanding of what all the fuss is about. Us adults, however, only need look at them once to question what the creators were thinking. Does the nickname McNuts offer any clues? Yeah, these fireballs have a wrinkled appearance resembling none other than a part of the male genitalia. Several jokes followed their release, with a McDonald's employee giving people the impression the fast food chain manufactured burning plastic testicles for their Happy Meal. They don't look like fireballs, more meatballs or miniature brains. What do you think? Number 14. Star Wars Bobblehead. Released shortly after the Clone Wars hit theaters, the Star Wars Clone Wars Bobblehead toys formed part of a Happy Meal promotion in August of 2008. 18 action toys were released over 9 weeks, with 2 available each week. The toys were able to be purchased as part of a Happy Meal or separately at a small cost. A fusion of Star Wars characters and predominantly space-type vehicles, the Bobbleheads were just the latest in a long line of Star Wars toy promotions that have been run over the years. C-3PO and a land speeder were considered the worst combo, described as ridiculously awful. And if you check out the pictures, you'll see why. The promotion is said to have been popular with most Star Wars fans keen to complete the set. However, the toys weren't great, even by Happy Meal standards. With small plastic models of different Star Wars vehicles acting as their base and a stylized bust of a different character's head glued to the top, these toys failed to impress. With the heads likely to easily snap off and discoloration evident within just a few months, there is no doubt these bizarre fusions would have ended up in the rubbish heap in no time. Number 13. Avengers Endgame Big Head. Obviously not content with the disaster that was the Star Wars Clone Wars bobblehead, McDonald's decided to give the design another go, with the result, Avengers The Endgame Big Heads. Depicting characters from the widely anticipated American superhero film that grossed nearly $2.8 billion worldwide and was released earlier this year, the promotion could have been a real hit. Unfortunately, not only did these toys bear the most uninspired name, Big Heads, their creation was said to be nothing more than a cheap knockoff of a less than popular Funko line. Whatever the design team was thinking when they decided each character should have a massive head, we may never know. But the characters look very strange, with Thor said to look smaller in the movie than his McDonald's Happy Meal figurine. Number 12. Bronzed Little Mermaids. The 1989 American animated romantic fantasy film The Little Mermaid was released in theaters in November 1989. Considered one of the most loved Disney animated movies ever, it was credited for breathing life back into the art of Disney animation, making $84 million during its initial domestic release and a further $149 million worldwide, garnering the company a total of $233 million. Thanks to its bright bright colors and lifelike characters, The Little Mermaid is still a favorite with little children all over the world. So when McDonald's indicated they were including miniature characters in their Happy Meals, great excitement ensued. Unfortunately, their excitement was short-lived, because McDonald's, in all their wisdom, decided the characters should be bronze. And if you think that's bad, Ursula, the Sea Witch, was the only character to see any color, but she took the form of a blow-up doll. The bronze rendition of the beloved Little Mermaid characters was a complete failure, leaving youngsters crying in the aisles. Who wants a colorless, apparently lifeless depiction of their favorite Disney princess? Not me. Number 11. Ronald McDonald Glove Puppet. For years, the dangers of combining plastic bags and children have been well promoted, with even McDonald's themselves having warning labels on each plastic bag and case toy. But in the 1970s and 80s, they apparently threw all caution to the wind when releasing the Ronald McDonald Glove Puppet. Loosely considered a toy, the glove was basically a mini plastic bag with Ronald on it. One of the earliest giveaways from the fast food magnate, the low-budget glove was actually a child's hand puppet. A truly horrible idea, considering the material it was made from could prove harmful for those it was intended for, causing them to choke and suffocate. We can only hope that promotion didn't last too long, given the danger it posed. Number 10. American Idol MP3 player. In 2007 and 2008, McDonald's released a series of American Idol-inspired toys, since we apparently couldn't seem to get quite enough of the show ourselves. The plastic toys didn't resemble any of the characters who had appeared on the show, or for that matter, any of the panel of judges. Each held a plastic mic and can only be described as alien-looking caricatures of musicians. In addition to their bizarre appearance, they also had wacky names like Disco Dave and New Wave Nigel. A second American Idol themed toy was also launched. Shaped like a white MP3 player complete with screen, the toy only played the opening theme of the show. Along with disappointing kids across the globe, can you imagine how irritating the repetitive tune must have been for parents of children who saw fit to play it on repeat for hours on end? While the hit TV show is known for winning over millions of fans, it seems a fairly random toy for children, considering they may never have even watched it. It's no wonder this made the list of saddest McDonald's Happy Meal toys ever. Number 9. Madame Alexander Oz dolls. The first hint that this toy is probably not suitable for children is its name, Madame Alexander Oz. The doll, whilst bearing a name that wouldn't be out of place in an Old West brothel, was created for McDonald's in 2008. Loosely based on The Wizard of Oz, the doll, considered a marriage of Ronald McDonald and Madame Alexander, raises all sorts of images, including that of a garish, green-colored, fake baby clown funeral. Several of the dolls can only be described as truly horrifying, with the evil winged monkey baby considered the worst of them all. The fact that these dolls were made with children in mind really does make the mind boggle. To add to the terror, if it wasn't already bad enough, these little darlings apparently suffocating inside the Happy Meal toys plastic bag. Looking for all the world like they have died in there, these creepy characters were certain to keep many little children up at night, with all sorts of bizarre images dancing through their heads. Number 8. Step-Its. A step-counting wristwatch with a tendency to burn your skin sounds like a recipe for disaster, right? Promoting the importance of kids being active, the fitness tracker, Step-It, came as standard with Happy Meals back in 2016. It seemed like a match made in heaven, even though the demographic was slightly out of step. Not exactly something kids were likely to get excited about, the bulky plastic Step-It came with battery installed and screen on. Unlike its fancy Apple counterparts, the watch was larger and virtually hopeless, other than counting steps. No fancy extras here. And even if kids did decide to use it to burn off their chicken nuggets, the product was quickly recalled after reports it left customers' skin burned and blistered. A whopping 29 million units were taken off the shelves in the United States, giving McDonald's a clear sign that they should stick to their knitting and remain as unhealthy as they've always been known to be. Number 7. Ronald McDonald Mask. The fear of clowns, or coulrophobia, is a common phobia and a very real one, particularly for sufferers, which makes McDonald's choice of mascot even more bizarre. In fact, having Ronald McDonald stand pride of place in the children's playground McDonald Land has probably caused many meltdowns of the miniature variety. But the mask released as part of the Happy Meal in 1974 depicting a grinning Ronald must have really tipped youngsters over the edge. Considered one of the creepiest clown-related toys ever, the mask was simply a piece of cardboard with the clown's face drawn on it. Unlike his typical style, the mask portrayed a clown resembling the one from It, slightly sinister and with seemingly dead eyes. Said to be cheaply made, the mask created more terror than joy, with McDonald's clearly forgetting their target market with this one. Number 6. Hello Kitty whistles. A detachable whistle in the hands of children. What could possibly go wrong? A lot, apparently, with McDonald's having to recall 2.3 million of the Hello Kitty themed toys following their release in 2014. A popular Japanese figure, Hello Kitty celebrated its 40th anniversary that year. McDonald's acknowledged this with the release of a Hello Kitty toy, forming part of their Happy Meal selection. The Hello Kitty figurine was paired with a detachable whistle. However, problems arose when it was revealed to be a choking hazard. Fortunately, no children were harmed, with just one requiring medical attention. McDonald's were quick to recall the toys that were still being sold in their restaurants throughout the United States and Canada. Number 5. Sky Dancers. Wind 'em up and let 'em go. Surely a recipe for disaster, the miniature Sky Dancer doll was released by McDonald's in the mid-90s. Aimed at little girls, the plastic fairy doll with long wings sat on a removable base. With the pull of a string, they were able to be launched into the air, spinning with the help of their wings. Problems arose with some versions, however, as their base was unstable, meaning the doll couldn't always be reconnected to it. If you were lucky enough to get one that did work, there was also a strong chance the wings of the doll could take out an eye. Considered unpredictable and notoriously dangerous, these plastic flying fairies could hardly be considered a win for McDonald's, that's for sure. In fact, after reports of many injuries, including a broken rib, mild concussion, and facial lacerations requiring stitches, it comes as no surprise that the toys were recalled and effectively taken off the market in 2000. Number 4. Shark Tail Jellyfish. This little gem comes in at number 4 on our list of the 15 saddest McDonald's Happy Meal toys ever, but according to many, it should be number 1. Considered the worst Happy Meal toy ever, the Shark Tail Jellyfish was launched to coincide with the release of DreamWorks Shark Tale in 2004. The animated movie featured talking fish and other marine life, along with a star-studded cast, including Will Smith, Jack Black, and Angelina Jolie. There were also a host of popular musical tracks, including a slightly altered rendition of R&B band Rose Royce's hit The Car Wash, sung by Christina Aguilera and featuring Missy Elliott. So it's hard to see where McDonald's could have gone so horribly wrong when designing their Shark Tale-inspired toy. But they did, and in truly dreadful style. Representing one of the film's jellyfish, the Shark Tail Jellyfish had a similar issue to that of our friends the Balls of Fury from the last Airbender-themed Happy Meal toy we learned about earlier. This hunk of purple and blue plastic was so poorly shaped, it literally bordered on suggestive, and although the youngsters it was intended for may never have noticed, their parents would have clicked on immediately. A strange-looking toy that appears particularly dull to play with, McDonald's clearly didn't put much thought into the quality control of this little guy. Number 3. McDonaldland Airport. Described by one disgruntled McDonald's toy fan as worse than cereal box toys, the McDonaldland Airport Happy Meal toys were cheaply made, and it showed. Although not the worst promotion to come out of McDonald's, the toys came as part of the Airport Happy Meal released in 1986. Presented with the opportunity to create something great, McDonald's toy manufacturers once again failed at the last hurdle, dishing up something decidedly average. And as with all things, when it comes to children, the feeble attempt didn't go unnoticed. The plastic toy that had to be put together barely resembled a plane and did absolutely nothing. Not only that, its creation was said to be that flimsy you couldn't play with it in case it broke. Now, what young child do you know that would have been keen to assemble a toy and leave it on a shelf to look at? 5 planes were made, and they included the Ronald Seaplane, the Fry Guy Flyer, the Grimace Ace, the Birdie Bent Wing Brazzer, and the Big Mac Helicopter. So surely they were at least colorful. The planes were each made in a different color, but just one color, mind you. Nothing quite so crazy as 2. It's hard to consider anything quite so boring, really, considering the colorful characters they could have been. Literally just a piece of plastic shaped like a plane with a character plonked on top. This toy lacked imagination from start to finish. No wonder it was a flop. Number 2. Fundamentals. Yet another failed attempt at teaching kids about health food, the Food Fundamentals were launched as Happy Meal toys in 1993. Not unlike today's popular Shopkins, the tiny figurines took the form of foods that were considered healthy options. Included in the unusual-looking lineup were an apple, corn, steak, bread, and milk, with the most ridiculous-looking being the T-bone steak named Slugger, complete with glasses and mustache. Still considered a strange choice, given that healthy food and McDonald's are not known for being paired together, the figurines just didn't look right alongside a burger, fries, and a Coke. Clashing heavily with the public's perception of the fast food chain, the Food Fundamentals weren't exactly a hit, with many simply not understanding the confusing concept. Accompanying the toys were mini notepads and pamphlets with information for children, telling them how to eat right and be active. This despite the fact that they were no doubt consuming a saturated, fat-packed meal at the same time. An incredibly odd promotion, considering that McDonald's at the time had little to no healthy options available on the menu. In fact, all it may have possibly achieved was to make parents pine for a Slugger steak at a much better restaurant. Number 1. Zizzle-Is. A completely pointless toy with no link to a popular movie or TV show, the Zizzle-Is flooded the Happy Meal market in 2006. With hopes it would become the hottest new toy that year, the odd little alien figurine proved a complete fizzer. Balancing on 3 tripod-like legs, the aliens could be used for recording a small amount of sound and were able to dance around a bit. Considered freaky rather than appealing, the aliens were said to be too weird for kids to enjoy, with most unhappy to find them in their Happy Meal. It's okay if you don't remember them, because apparently most don't. The Zizzle-Is didn't hang around for long, to the delight of those it was designed for. Yet another epic fail for McDonald's. Will they ever learn? This list really does make you question the inspiration behind the McDonald's toys, particularly the ones that seem to serve absolutely no purpose at all. Surely they can't be popular with the children they're intended for. Makes you wonder who was responsible for their creation, and why did they ever imagine they'd be a hit? Also, check out our other cool stuff showing up on screen right now. See you next time!